We have some thunderstorms to our east or west. They're moving in a strange direction. Normally they come from the southwest to the northeast, and they're coming straight south. But that's what's keeping me from crawling up and welding. The heat was keeping me from crawling up and welding earlier, but we're not there yet. I also need to finish welding this little bit here. As soon as that's done, I got several actual welding projects. I just got burned out on welding for a while, so I took a break. I get the rivets in and finish welding. I'm gonna drop a little drip edge right along here going across. That should allow the water to come out when it falls down. It'll fall on the hood, not on my air intake, which has been getting into my radio, which has been giving me some issues. And then I'm going to put a little light bar mount right above it where I can tie in a light bar if I ever decide I want to. I'll also pre-run the wire while I have it here. Probably run me an extra set just in case I want some more control. And actually, I got some control wire I might run up here, so I might just run me a power and a ground wire and then have a relay something up here to flip it on and off. That way I can run more lighter wires. The two big ones for control are the two big ones for power, and then run lighter ones later for control. That's also a possibility. It feels interesting out here. I still need to get the solid thing up top there. Once I get the solid thing up top there, man, I wish I could work today. It's nice temperature. But yeah, I don't want to crawl on the top whenever it's storming. But get that bar up there, and then I can get the marker lights up there. And I think my high beams don't work. I think I can pull out the original wires. I think they left them in there when they decommissioned the high beams, because they use the high beams for the emergency flashers, and I haven't got back to it. My new air conditioner came in yesterday. Got to finish putting out the factory AC back together also. I'll probably mount it somehow, pre-mount it somehow, and go in with the filter system and everything else and make it really clean air. I still haven't decided if I want it on this side or that side. It'd be easy to do on this side, but it'd be more convenient to have it on that side. Mainly because I have the fresh air intake there and some other things that's going in there, which I've kind of decided I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to pull positive pressure in the subfloor area, so all that has air movement down there, clean air movement, because they'll be running through a couple HEPA filters. And what I'm going to do is probably pressurize it from this side, pull a little of that pressurization up on my electronics that needs to be well ventilated, and the rest of it I'm going to have a couple, probably either active flow, like a fan down there to pull air around the batteries and everything, to pull air out of some key spots, so it'd be like in-floor heating, because my radiant floor is going to be down there anyhow. And there's going to be a couple key spots where I actually have radiant floor on the actual floor. It can't be where I have accesses or permanent accesses, or not permanent accesses. It has to be where I have permanent spots, like where the tank is, probably above the tanks here, and maybe where the spare tire is going to be, and maybe above the batteries. I don't know for sure. I'd like to have some up in the bedroom too. I'll probably do some baseboard heating, or just above baseboard, below the windows kind of heating, so whenever I'm laying in bed I can get some heat and have a warm spot to cuddle up with. I'm not really... I don't know if I'm going to do the floor too much in the bedroom, mainly because it's going to have the bed on top of it, which will add extra insulation. I guess I need to figure out if that's something I need to do. I do have a little electric blanket that I've used, or electric shawl, several times that kept me warm in the winter in the bus, and it didn't even touch my DC lead acid system. I used it a lot, and it kept me warm. So that's probably what I'll do, other than the side heat. And I don't know, maybe I'll drop some loose ones underneath it just to give it some protection, because it's going to be pretty much free. Anyhow, the floor's in. I need to pull it out and do a little more finesse because of the stupid crinkles in it. is not great. I gotta hook up this passenger seat and the airbag system. But it looks better in there, that's for sure. And yeah, it is what it is. Also need to crawl under there and mess with the wiring, but that's a whole nother project to mess with. I want to get this area mostly done, at least drivable, and then I'll mess with tearing apart the engine. And that involves crawling up on the roof and welding up where my leak is coming from, because there's a gap in this. Here, I'll show you. There's a gap right here wherever I brought it in, where I mismeasured with the gap of other stuff. Whenever I put the goop on there, it pulled it back, both the top and bottom. And the original plan is to weld this up. I'm probably going to leave this bottom part hanging off, but I'll probably run another support, like a rivet back here, just to call it good. I'm going to leave it, but I'm going to tie it down on the front because it helps give me a little extra waterproofing. That being said, I do have the black to finish this up, but I gotta get all the welding done with it before I can finish up bringing the black down. I think, ooh, that one needs to be pulled. That's a bad rivet. The drip edge is gonna be here, so I think the black's gonna continue down underneath the drip edge. Everything above it will be white, which will give it a nice good look. Other news is I need to pull off this grill and clean all the metal shavings out of it and make sure it's draining properly, because when I was dropping water down in it the other day, part of the reason I realized I need a drip edge is because whenever it rains real hard, it actually falls right in the middle of this, and I don't think it's draining properly right now. So I want to just put a drip edge there. It'll bring it out here. It should drop right on top of this and not even hit any of this, which should be good. That one almost looks like it needs to be replaced. I came through and gooped a bunch of rivets with some epoxy, that metal sealer, to help make sure they're watertight. And I'm going to come through and clean them up, probably with a Scotch-Brite pad, maybe a wire brush on the grinder, maybe a felt brush on the grinder. Clean up around them, make them look good, and then just make them take paint. And then we're going to treat it all with that epoxy primer boat sealer stuff, and then the other primer should take over. Actually, I think this would be the paint, the epoxy paint. Oh god, I found that wet spot. The epoxy paints would be more than enough to seal it up, but I really just want to have peace of mind. And I'm not too worried about the rivets on the bottom. They're actually better to have them let water come through, because of the nature of if I ever get a leak up there, I want the water to come right on out. And in the last video, you guys kind of seen it pouring out of that one hole over there. That was a drip hole because I didn't have it sealed up whenever I was done. So I'll probably leave a couple holes in the floor just so it can do that. No mice can get in or anything like that. And it's small enough I don't think a wasp would get in it. Plus it'll be covered up. It's more or less just a weep hole. Anyhow, I want to get in here and get this dust out of here. This dust is what drives my allergies crazy. It'll give me a headache and knock me down for a while. Part of the reason I'm so crazy about having clean air and clean space. Also, I want to rent me a carpet cleaner and clean these seats. I want them clean and dry, and then I want to put a cover on them. Mainly because this one has some spots in the back I'm not really too thrilled about, but you know, whatever. I gotta make some mounts to mount some switches in here to control the off-road lights that I'm gonna have, along with kill the master kill for anything in the background that I don't want running while I'm driving down the road. There shouldn't be too many of them. Also, I don't know if I showed you, but I got my lights in. These are my red lights. They come on, they're optional on and off, plus a little directional white light in here. When you get into off-road and BLMs, Bureau of Land Management land, so close, you are equivalently night blinded if you had to turn on your main light. So you got your headlights, but you want to have as much of that night blindness taken care of that you can. So I'm pretty sure you're getting wind noise, because that's how it does. Anyhow, you want to make sure you can it's kind of nice to have red lights every now and again. I have a couple other plans for the outside. I got to mount the area lights on the top and run those wires along with I got to figure out what I'm doing with my solar, because I need to weld those so I can run wires for my marker lights, which I don't have enough metal right now to finish my solar rack. I used it mostly on the floor, which is fine. I'm going to use some more in the ceiling for support for the bedroom area for the deck, and it'll be a direct surface deck. Look at those clouds. That's absolutely pretty. Yesterday's thunderstorms, I'm sure someone's still having a thunderstorm, so I think one of my friends said they had a tornado warning they was watching out for. And that would put those storms right around Tulsa from here. About 2 hours to the east. 100 miles, which would probably be about right with those thunderstorms there. Absolutely beautiful. Anyhow, I want to get this strip edge done, and I'd like to figure out some sort of resource for getting the marker lights up.
It's the coldest hand that run down this land where the ocean lands. It's the tallest sound, the damn smallest crowd. let their hearts break loud. Far from ever feeling lost with me, I'll push you back towards the land and sea. They're going down for love, and love is free. Stick with me and I will guarantee you'll never last among the crowd with me. Never last among the crowd with me. Everywhere you go I'll be. Anywhere you go I'll see. You'll never last among the crowd with me. It's a furthest sun, the gun done for love. It's a pulse and shove. It's the sharpest cry. The here goes, but why? Where the desperate lie. Far from ever feeling lost with me, I'll push you back towards the land and sea. They're going down for love, and love is free. Stick with me and I will guarantee you'll never last among the crowd with me. Never last among the crowd with me. Everywhere you go I'll be. Anywhere you go I'll see. You'll never last among the crowd with me. Crowd with me. Never last among the crowd with me. Everywhere you go I'll be. Anywhere you go I'll see. Even in the autumn breeze, when the trees are shaking off their leaves.
There you go, one window in. This one's going to be easier windows to do. I got to put the air conditioner in over here. Got a Medea U-shaped air conditioner. It's going to go in here. We're going to pull this one out like we did that one. Put that one in there. It's a little more complicated. Here, let me adjust this. It's a little more complicated install instead of this little window unit. And I would normally do a window mini split, but they just got ridiculous expensive, and I just don't feel like spending that much money on them. But it's a U-shaped window unit, and it's designed so you can open your window and leave the air conditioner in there. But I'm going to use the design to add extra insulation between the outside part and the inside part. Just to get a little more efficiency out of a window unit. Most window units only have about a ½ inch of styrofoam to an inch of styrofoam. Actually only about a ½ inch. So I can get 2 inches in there and get this really nice small footprints in it. Up the efficiency in here, and it's going to go right here. It'll be a permanent install. But the reason I went with this one, it's a 8,000 BTU, rated at 300 square foot. And because I'm in a vehicle, I just take the square footage and double it, just because it's not designed for it's not going in a house. That being said, it's still an inverter generator, so it self-regulates up and down, and it comes on and goes as fast as it needs to. So I don't have to get a soft start for it. And it is rated for 700 watts max DC. I was going to go with a smaller AC unit, 6,000 BTU. However, it uses close to 665 or 75 watts, and this one uses 700 watts, and I get an extra space out of it. So I went ahead and went with this one, and I found a good deal. I had it for sale for like $356, which, you know, is I think a good deal considering a mini split costs nearly $700. And yeah, this should do us just fine. And we got the chassis air conditioner we're going to be able to run in here also. Basically, they said this thing can shoot air up to 20 feet away, which it will be roughly 20 feet away from this side to that side. I'm making some changes from inside the bus that I didn't have. Basically, in the bus, I had it down low. It cooled the low area really good, but didn't cool everything else. This is going to be up high, so it should cool all this up. Area up here, very well, circulates nice. I will have 2 inches of rigid foam insulation plus another 2 inches of rock wool on all sides. Plus I plan on adding a 3/4 inch gap up here to pull hot air out. I'm going to actually pull it back this way, and I'm going to pull from the front cab or front cap area, so my bedroom. So if I ever need to create a negative airflow and pull air that way, which the air conditioner will be here, I'll pull up along through the ceiling and back out a couple vents here. That way I can pull all the air, cold air or not air, up front. With this window here, the 2 bedroom windows, I can get airflow going through here at night. If I don't want to leave the back doors or the side doors, all these doors open for airflow. So that's why I put this in here. I feel secure with it having it here. It's up high, actually way higher than anyone can reach. It's higher than the actual original bus windows. I have a couple side off-road lights that I want to put on here for looking out during the side. They're for RVs, and they fit up there. I still have to finish welding this side up and doing some other touch-up various places, but I gotta unattach this and let this relax a little bit because I got this little bit of space in here. And I went ahead and riveted up the top of it so I could loosen this up and let it fall down. When it does, it shall bring it up tight. And being that I'm doing it in the summertime, the metal's nice and loose. When I rivet it in the wintertime, it'll be nice and tight and good looking. It's not a big deal, but there's about a 1/2 inch there. I'd like to get it close, and it's going to make a bunch of noise going down the road, especially since I pulled this up. I think this kind of slacked out whenever I had it unattached, and when I pulled it up, it brought it up solid. Anyhow, I put the off-road lights, electrical, along with my marker lights, which are up there in the back, but not in the front. I got to figure out some sort of thing there. Actually, I figured it out. I just got to figure out how I'm going to do it. I'll probably just sit down and weld up a bunch of brackets for it at the right angle. Make me a jig and weld me up a bunch of brackets. And that'll work just fine for getting those marker lights right where they need to be. Finish welding up here. I got a support, got to go across there and across the window there. I've kind of rolled out the skylights above the windows just for privacy sakes. And I'll just put a roof hatch up there so I can access and do stargazing later on. Or leave it up in the middle of the night, and if I get wet I will wake up and close it. There's a couple things. I gotta run some supports on this one and finish securing it up, and then we'll cut out the rest of these and probably cap off the ends in case any moisture gets in there. It won't come directly onto my electrical, which would be good. But and finish tying in the rest of the bed to the frame just for secure. And I got one thing out there I gotta finish up. And yeah, and I might figure out some other DC wiring that needs to go in the ceiling. And also AC wiring is going to have to happen too soon. But I can go ahead and insulate the floor and the subfloor and put the heated radiant floor in down there. And get the hot water heater in here too. And that will be nice. The one other thing I got to do on the roof is I got to put the solar array up there and the solar rack. And I think I may end up doing a double tilter. I haven't decided if I want to do it. In all truth, you don't need to tilt your panels unless you're maxed out your space. I'm going to build the solar rack to max out my space, and I don't know if I'm going to do this tilting array now or if I'm going to wait and do it later on, you know, whenever I want to mess with it. And I kind of want to go on the road. I got burned out on welding for about a week. I just didn't weld because I was just tired of it, because I've been pushing hard trying to get it all done. I just got tired of it. So there's that. But I'm back in here. I want to get this done. I want to get the back area done. The lower portion has to be done too, so we'll see. We'll see what we can do. It's hot, tiring, and too much work. Too much work indeed. And thank goodness lumber prices are supposed to be coming down, but I haven't seen it reflected in stores. So I'm waiting for it to reflect in stores before I go out and buy lumber, because I think it'll be 3 4x8 sheets to do the floor, another sheet and a foot to do up front, or the bedroom, which I would probably won't use 3/4, I'll probably use 1/2 inch tongue and groove OSB with kills painted on it. It seemed to do just fine and didn't have any moisture problems or anything like that, at least my experience with it. So if that becomes an issue, we'll revisit that. This will be plywood, and I'll have to do 2 fittings of it. I'll have to put it in there and figure out where it, mark out everything, and then I can figure out where all the hatches are going to go for the access for everything. Get those in there. But by the time I'm doing, you know, get the access is done. Well, no, I'll have to do the tanks after I do the access. So we'll see where we go. But I'm going to open this up, and then we're going to mess with that. I look forward to getting a floor in here so I don't have to bounce on all these floor joists. Anyhow, there's a lot of work. I'll be done in 2 months, but I don't know. 3 months hopefully. I want the outside and all the outside work, welding work, painted and done before the cold weather gets here. Alright.